Hello and welcome back to Easyweb Tutorials. Today we're going to do something fun. We're going to build a completely new module from scratch. And here you can see we already have our website up and running from our local project. We're on the start page right now. As usual, I have Klaus and Niklas with me, and we'll jump right in by going to Easyweb. We will start building this module as we usually build stuff in Easyweb, and to do that we will navigate into the studio first, and then we'll try to do everything we need to in the studio to be able to control our content then all in one go, and then we'll add the code to render our content. So here in the studio we can press the add module button. And here we will name our module coworkers. And we also have a key for our module that'll be automatically assigned, and we also will get a route/path that will be automatically assigned. We can change the key and the route, but we're not going to do that because it's pretty fitting. And also, if you're interested in the route path, this will actually correspond to the path in our URL when we go to first the landing page of the module and then to the different module views. So the route path there will reflect in our URL on our website. We have a few checkboxes here. We can select use landing page for module, and we can select use landing page for each folder. And we're gonna want to do that. Landing page for module means that we'll have a module page that we, just as we set up in the last video for the news module, will render out an article archive or a particular view for just the module path. And landing pages for each folder, it means that we can create folders inside of our module in the content management part of Easyweb, where we can also set different landing pages for different view folders, and those landing pages will also have a routing that'll reflect in our URL, which is very powerful and actually pretty easy to understand. So I think you'll grasp that pretty quickly. We'll click save here. And our new module is created. So we're going to want to create the views we'll have in this module. So we'll click the little plus button. And here we can see that we have a pre-selected view type, which is standard. And we're not going to dive too deeply into that right now. We'll just make a note that this standard view will be the view that's used to render all of the articles in the content in the module. We also have a checkbox here which says create default contents in view. This is in case we want to create a default checkbox or section or something like that. But we're going to click this out because we want to build this view from scratch. And then we'll click save view or save. And here now we can see, just as we have in the news module, we also have a view here that's called coworkers, the same name as the module itself, and that'll be our standard view. And here we're gonna want to create the content boxes or components that we want to render out our coworkers for. So the label, it will be automatically a property of this view, so we don't need to create the label or title. But we do want to create a single line text box, so we can search for single line. And there we have it on the top. And we'll name this single line text box, we'll name it position. So this text box will reflect the position of the coworker. And the label here, we will show the label in the content management part of Easyweb, and then we'll have the key that we'll use in the code to render this content. And we'll also name the key position for simplicity. And we want an image for our coworkers, so we'll search for image and add an image component. and we can remove the media component. So we'll have an image component for our image. We have the key image. And lastly, maybe we want a description type box for our coworker. So we can search for description. And here we'll have just the key description. We don't need to change the label on this one. So that'll be our simple view done, and we'll click Save View to not lose all this progress. And now we'll create a module page, which will be the root page for the module. So we'll click the little plus. And here, instead of alternative, which is now pre-selected, we'll click module root. And we'll uncheck the checkbox, create default contents in view, and save. So now this will be our landing page for the module. And here we will do exactly as we did in the news landing page for the module. So we'll create a list, select view list, and here we can have the label coworkers list. And we'll also have that key. Perfect. And we also want the root page here to have some sort of a bootstrap jumbotron or a big hero. So Niklas will also be creating those components. So he's got a description. And as we mentioned before, the label will be automatically there. So if you want to render out the label, we'll already have that component. So we'll save the module view. And now we are done in the studio.
We also need to like in the settings we have to choose from our list
of course.
to the
So
like all the coworkers.
good point. So we'll select the little options key here to control our options for the coworkers list, and we will, exactly as we did in the news module, scroll down to common, and then we have the from modules static selection. And here we'll choose the module that we just created, or the standard page that we just created, standard view. So we'll select the module's coworkers, and it will loop out all of the articles in this module. And now we can save view. Great. So we will now we can click the coworkers option in the header, and we'll be taken to the content management of our module. So as we can see here, right away we have a landing page, so we can click into that. And here we have the description component that we created, and we also have the title there. So we can change the title to begin with. So we have the coworkers module, or this is our new coworkers module. We'll just type some text that we want to be showing on our website. And then we'll have the description, and I think Niklas can come up with some fun description for the module. Great. We'll save and publish this landing page, and we can go back with the back arrow or click the module in the header. And now here to the right, we can see we can create coworkers. And this doesn't literally mean we'll create new coworkers for us to play with. It means that we will create a page with the name coworkers, which is the standard page of this module. So we'll click there. And here we have a header. So Niklas will create himself. we have position, and he will be our mouse driving manager or front-end developer, depending on how you want to see it. We can save and publish this if we don't want to lose our progress. And here we have an image. So now we want to add an image for Niklas here. And Niklas has not uploaded an image yet to our archive. So he can just open up a folder on his computer and drag over a file here to automatically upload this picture. And he will select this great picture of Niklas. And now we also have a little description, so Niklas will just be writing something about himself here. Great, we'll save and publish this page. And then we go back to our module. And now we can create new coworkers, as many as we want, and we'll be creating 2 new coworkers, one for me and one for Klaus, and we'll be back when that is finished. Now all of our coworkers are created and our pages are ready and they're set up in Easyweb. So we are actually done with the Easyweb part of this. But before we leave Easyweb, we'll also create a link in our header, in our menu, to our coworkers module. So we'll go into the menu, we'll click Add Main Menu, and then we'll select the coworkers module and the coworkers this folder. And we'll just name it coworkers. So now we can access our module from the header. Save and publish. And now that we have created a link in our menu to our coworkers module, we are completely done in Easyweb. So we can navigate over to our site. And here, if we reload our site, we can see that the coworkers menu alternative has shown up. And if we click it, we'll come to a pretty ugly page here, but we can see that all of the contents we've just created are showing at least. If this doesn't work for you, if you can't click the coworkers link, then maybe you have to restart your project to be able to click it. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the code and create the files to render this content correctly. So we'll go into the views folder, and here we will create a new folder. And if you remember from last week, we want the folder name to correspond to our module key. So we'll create a folder named coworkers. And then inside of the coworkers folder, we will create a .cshtml file that is called module and one that is called coworkers. And the framework shouldn't have any problem finding your files if you name them with capital or lowercase letters, but just to be safe, I think we should change the coworkers.cshtml to be with a capital C. But as I mentioned, the framework shouldn't have any problem if you accidentally name it with lowercase letters. So here in our module.cshtml, we will specify up some code and we'll be pasting in some code that we have written. If you want to follow along completely with this guide, you can just pause the video here, and when Niklas has pasted in the code, you can pause the video and just copy it for yourself. So here, if we save this file and then reload our page, we can see that it's exactly only this content that will be rendered out. Perfect. And here we want to take the h1 element and we want to render our label into here instead. So we can just remove that text. We'll add the ev4 tag helper. And then in the key, we will specify the $ label key. So now we get the label here, and we'll do the same with our p tag here. So we'll add the ev4 tag helper, and then we will write the key description. And now we have our little hero section here done. So now we want to list out our coworker items. So Nicholas will once again paste in some code here to render out a single coworker item. And here we have the IMG EV4 SRC image. We can remove the alt tag altogether. We have the age 5, which is a card title. And here we have EV4 $ label. And these keys, they are now we're going for the keys that are tied to our coworkers' articles. So our single coworkers' articles here. So we'll have one key for description. And then we also, if you remember, we made a key called position. So we'll also add a little element here for that key. Great. And now maybe we want to make this a little bit clearer that this is actually the position. So a little thing we can do here is that we can cut out the EV4 position here, or just the EV4 position tag. And then inside of this p tag, we can create two spans. And one where we type position. Exactly, with the dots there, yeah. And then in the other one, we'll paste in our EV4 position. So now we can combine the tag helpers to fetch our content with actual hard-coded text that we have in our project. But this will, if we try to reload our page now, this will not do anything. Because this now thinks that we are still in the scope of the module landing page. So to get into the scope of our coworkers and our list, we need to once again create an EV list. So we'll wrap our div with the column class into an EV list tag. And here we will specify for key, and we name the key coworkers list. And now, when we reload our page, this should loop out all of our coworkers. Now it did not do that, so this can happen sometimes. And what you need to do at first then, when things like this happen, it's just we go into the studio, we check, there we have a capital C. So in the keys here, we want to be particular with our lowercase and uppercase letters. And now we can see we have our 3 cards here for our 3 coworkers. And it's Niklas, it's me, and it's Klaus. Great. And now we want to navigate into these specified pages here. So we want all of the cards to be links. So if we change the div with the class col to an anchor tag, or the div for the card to an anchor tag, we can specify the EV4 href tag helper and just use the $sign to specify that it's for this particular item or for this particular article. And then we can see the cards become clickable, and if we click on one of the cards, we'll be taken to that card's URL. But since we just created the CSS.html file, which is now empty, we also get no content here. So what we can do here actually is we'll just copy the div class col, and we'll paste this exact code into our coworkers.html file. And now we don't need to have an anchor tag here, since this is already where we are positioned on the website. So we can change that back to a div. And now the card is rendered out here on its own page, and it works with all of the different coworkers here that we have created today. So feel free to style the singular coworkers page up as you see fit. Use maybe some Bootstrap to make it look a little bit cleaner. But that's the video for today. Now we've created a module completely from scratch, and as you can see, it's a pretty quick and easy way to just create files that will render out our content. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.